Welcome to English 4A and 4B with me, Mrs. Page. So we've been talking about what we did over Thanksgiving break, which is awesome. I definitely had food babies. It was nice. Good food's always a good thing. So today 4B is in the breakout rooms for 4.01 project. It's got a video. It's got all that help for you. That way you'll be good to go. The 4A students are sticking around for 5.03. So if I have a reader that would like to read for us for 4A, please raise your hand. And everybody else, if you don't want to stay in the breakout room 4A, you're more than welcome to move. In the main room 4A, you can move to the breakout room. 4B, you can go ahead and move into the breakout room. As long as it's working, hopefully, because it seems like things froze. Oh, okay, now it's moving. Yay, okay. No readers, nobody loves me. Everybody hates me. I'm gonna eat some worms. Alrighty, I guess I will read today. This is 4A. If you're 4B, breakout room. Let me get my little pointer. I am a young adult at Hope. I am talented, smart, and capable of success. I will respect myself, others, learning, and property. I have dreams for the future, and I will climb to reach those goals and dreams every day. All are capable of success, no exceptions. So today's objective for 4A. Today, I am making a plan for my writing so that I can make sure that I will have an easier time putting together my research project. I will know I got it when I have 2 pieces of research for each of my subtopics, add in-text citations, quotes, explanations correctly into the planner, and know how to get more help if needed. So that way, because we are not going to be able to cover everything, but what we're going to cover today mostly is making sure you know what that in-text citation is, how to make sure that those body paragraphs are good. And if we have time, we'll try to touch on the introduction and conclusion. All right, so let's start with what questions do you have? Like, you've probably looked at it, and if not, I will send it out to you so that way you can kind of see what the craziness is, because it does look very long, but once you kind of get it going, I promise you it is so much easier than you think. Let's see, classes. And this is, we kind of started on this on last week on Monday, I think it was, where we kind of looked at sloths or Dean Lewis, right? And we were coming up with evidence for them because that was what we decided to do for a class topic, that kind of thing. Awesome, thank you, Vanessa. And you can also write it in the chat box if you don't want to write on the board. It's just, the choice is yours. If there is no author, ooh, that's a good one, yes. Anyone else have one that's like, it's eating at me, I just don't know what to do? Okay, so we'll start with that, definitely, because that's one of the first things we're going to touch on, but I want to make sure that everybody knows what to do to get to that part where we're going to be doing it, right? So this is kind of what it looks like at the very top of that document that I sent out. And last week we were adding in our own subtopics for either the sloth or Dean Lewis or your own topic of choice, right? And so what I would like to do is see if you guys understand where this stuff goes, and then we'll move on from there. And I promise I'll get to the in-text citation specifics in just a moment. So what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to draw a line from whatever it is to wherever you think it goes. So like if we're saying what sloths eat, that's a subtopic. So I will put it right here. What else? Where else does it go? Sloths sleep up to 20 hours a day and are native to the tropical forest of Central and South America. Where would that go on our list? Where would National Geographic go? Oop, where sloths live. Thank you, Vanessa. Yes, another subtopic. What they do. Fantastic job, Vanessa. Welcome, Franco. Which means that the other portions to this are the evidence and information about where that evidence came from, right? There you go. So sleeping is part of what they do. So that would be the quote that goes there. Sloths have an extremely low metabolic rate, which means they move at a languid, sluggish pace through the trees. Okay. So that last one would also be a what they do, right? And you'll note that there's something here that we didn't even touch on. There's the National Geographic, and you see that that is not an author's name, right? That's the name of the group or the company that wrote it. So if you can't find the author's name, you can always use the company name, the name of the website itself if needed. But usually you don't want to say like .com unless there's no other option, right? So even the examples given here, you've got a .com because there's no other way to do it, and IMDb, which is the name of the company because there was also no author for that one. So in other words, you want to give enough information to get the people back to that site if they wanted to get more information or wanted to check and see, you know, like teachers, where you got it from. Make sure that it's a reliable source, that kind of stuff. So the top half is you getting all the ideas together for the evidence, because then whenever you go and go to the, I'll be able to talk in a second. When you go to the actual outline below, it'll make a lot more sense. So I'm going to try to snip this. Okay. So whenever we go to the next piece here, this is what the outline is. And with the outline, there's this cool little section up here. What do we think this section is for? Let me change the polling type. And don't forget 4B is in the breakout room. I didn't put it on this one. My apologies. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Vanessa. Amari, Brandon, Franco, do you have an idea? Janelle, Levi, Ramir. And if you're not quite sure, just give me a D so I know you're here with me and you're just trying to figure it out as you go. Welcome, Travis. Thank you, Amari. Thank you, Franco. Thank you, Levi. Thank you, Brandon. All right, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds. Either you're putting A, B, C, or D in there, or you're moving to the breakout room to be working in there. So in 5, A, B, C, or D. 4, 3, A, B, C, or D. 2, 1, A, B, C, or D. And 0. Travis, I'll leave you there because I'm not quite sure if you're catching up on it or what's going on because, you know, things like that happen. So we have many, 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 many B's because people are trying to figure it out. We've got 2 B's and 1 A. No, 3 B's and 1 A. So it looks like B wins. Yes, it is a word box, but it gives you help. So you can actually click on these and it'll give you examples, how to do it, all that jazz. So that way, seeing that we can't cover absolutely everything in the class, that gives you little helpful pieces to it. All right, yay! 5.03 planner, we've got the body paragraphs here. So that's why I did the snip, so I could do this and be like, hey, here you go. Okay, so when we look at this, it connects to what it looks like down here, right? So where, like we've got what sloths eat. Then we've got where sloths live. And you see how it's kind of color-coded? So what sloths eat, where sloths live, what they do. So this one is going to be about what sloths eat if we're going by the color coding, right? So literally, just like we were doing before, I'm going to show you how it goes into these different pieces. And I kind of did it differently than I had planned, so let's go to it. All right, so here's an example using the evidence that I put in the first part of it, okay? So we've got the first piece of evidence, sloths sleep up to 20 hours a day. We've got the in-text citation. Remember, if you don't have a name of an author, it could be the company's name, what the company, like if there's a group of them, you can do multiple names there. You can also, if it's absolutely necessary, which it shouldn't be because you can still do the website, you can always do the unknown thing, but I would prefer either, you know, like if you can't find anything, at least put the website up there so I know you know what it's supposed to be referring to. And then we can work together to improve it and make it better. But then you're doing it in this, so that way in the essay you'll have it down. Great. Okay. So check, check. We've got evidence. We've got in-text citations that we were already working with, right? The other pieces to it, though, are a little bit different than maybe what you're used to, or maybe not what you expected. So we think about the topic sentence here. This is what the rest of the paragraph is going to be about. So you look at what evidence you put in there and you go, okay, what's it going to be about? Or what did you put as your subtopic? Seeing that it was about what sloths do, I said sloths have unique habits. A nicer way to say it, right? I upped my academic vocabulary. And then I put in the in-text citation and the evidence. And then I have to explain, why did I choose this quote? How is this helping me to understand how sloths have unique habits? So this quote shows that the sloths have a surprising sleep pattern, right? And then sloths are extremely low metabolic rate. I'll be able to talk one of these days. Got the in-text citation, and again, I've got to tell why did I choose it, because this shows why they move slowly, right? So it gives the background of the do of moving slowly. And then the last part of it is you're summarizing what you wrote up here. So in conclusion, sloths' habits, it goes back up to, see if I can make it a different color. So sloths' habits, sleeping, movement, which was all about that metabolic rate. See? So I mentioned what the 2 quotes were going to be about in my summary. So topic, what the 2 quotes were about. Summary. So What surprised you, or what do you still have questions about? Tell me in the chat box. Hop on the mic. Hopefully that's making sense to you. And if you're doing the sloths with the class, you can use this first paragraph piece as one of your body paragraphs. Sorry about that. That was because I'm waiting on the people for the ticket to call. All right. If you're good on this, give me a green check. If you're still having questions, you can even send it to me by private chat. Or if you give me an X, we can set up a one-on-one, or you can come to Open Help, that kind of thing. Thank you, Luca. Thank you, Ramir. Thank you, Vanessa. Are you getting it? Green check. Red X, we'll do a one-on-one or come to Open Help. In 5, 4, green check or red X, 3, 2, green check or red X, 1, and 0. Thank you, Brandon. And of course, if I accidentally move you, or you just like to be a quiet person in the background, always feel free to move yourself back. All right. So, seeing that we have a little bit more time, we can kind of touch on the hook, bridge, thesis statement in the introduction, and the touchback, go to the heart, look to the future, zinger in the conclusion. So again, I gave examples so we can work from those examples. So you're going to help me to create these pieces as a class, right? And of course, again, if you're doing this as a class and you're doing the sloths, then of course you can use this, right? So what I have here is I did the hook, which is the hook, you want to get the attention. Yes, you can pose a question. Great question. Ha, get it. So if you're in the hook or the zinger, you can ask a question. You can give a really exciting, neat detail. You can, like pretty much think about what would get you interested in that topic. Because you going, I'm going to talk about sloths. Oh, okay. I might like sloths, but that kind of is boring, right? So you're just trying to hook the reader in, pull them in, and get there. So my example, which again, if you're using the class example, you can use this. Did you know that sloths only move about half of a football field? And because this information came from World Wildlife, I gave credit. So you may have to give credit in the introduction or the conclusion if you're using just a little bit of extra information. But you shouldn't be giving too much new information, right? You don't want to say something and then have to re-say it in the body paragraph. This is just to kind of get people going. Okay? And then I said for the thesis statement, you'll see that I jumped over the bridge. You'll see why. Sloths have interesting habits, eat specific foods, and live in certain locations. Those are our 3 subtopics. You need to mention all 3 in both the thesis statement and the touchback. Okay, so what you're saying here will be very similar to here, just different word choices, right? And then what you are saying or doing here in the hook is what you're also doing in the zinger. So they're very, very similar in how they are laid out. So hook, getting attention, zinger, getting attention. So if you do a question in the beginning, you could probably do a question at the end, right? So then we've got the bridge. Bum, bum, bum. We didn't really cover that one yet. That's because it's getting you from here to here. So what can I say to get you from here to here? Let's talk a little bit about it, right? There is so much more to know about these fascinating creatures. What is there to know? Sloths have blah, 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 blah. Right, you want to avoid personal pronouns. It may come up every once in a while, like you, because you are referring to the reader sometimes, can sometimes, like, some teachers will be like, don't. But in the very beginning and the very end, it's okay to have like one, right? Because you're trying to get the reader to do something, think of something, feel something, right? So as long as it's not like throughout, like you should be really excited about sloths, you know, like, or I really love sloths, yeah. So it's, think of it kind of, you know, like you're the narrator and you're telling it about this outside world other than the hook and zinger, where you can bring the reader in a little bit more. Great question. Thank you, Vanessa. All right. So help me out. Let's start with the thesis statement, okay? We have sloths, habits, foods, and where they live, right? How could we say that same idea, just different words or different word order, like maybe we could flip it, maybe we could say it in a different way, but we want to have all three topics and sloths, just like we did for the conclusion of every paragraph, right? Bloop. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. So I've been turning in master's work, right? And they get on to me because I'll forget to do the conclusion sentence. And I'm over here going, I'm an English teacher, right? Everybody forget that. That's why doing these outlines really helps, because then you won't forget it. And it will be very professional, research-based papers. So with the thesis statement, should we flip it or should we reword it? What do you think? Like put the end at the beginning or change up how we're talking about the sloths themselves? But still mention the three pieces, right? We don't have to say eat. We can maybe say, like, they devour. I don't know. Like, what words could we change, or what order should we change? Restate it? Yes, there you go. Should we start with sloths again, or should we start with the three things that we're going to talk about? Yeah, touchback. I'll make a little box so it's a little bit more obvious. Oop. There we go. So touchback is pretty much restating the thesis statement. You don't want to say the exact same thing, but you want to get the same idea across. Start with just restating the topics. Okay, so we could literally go interesting habitats or habits. Sorry, habits. Specific foods and certain locations. And then we need to mention the sloths themselves, right? So these are things that make a sloth interesting. Oh, and I love that one. Overall, when it comes to the topics of sloths, they are very interesting indeed. But remember, you do have to, so we'd say like interesting habits, specific foods in certain locations overall, or is that a little bit too much? Should we start it with the overall? I love it. It's beautiful. Thank you. Yes. I like it. So what I would probably say would be like overall interesting habits, specific foods in certain locations are topics of sloths or that sloths use. No, that sounds weird. Make sloths interesting and very intriguing indeed. Ooh, I love that one. Very nice, Vanessa. On a roll. Are just a few characteristics that make sloths unique animals. Beautiful. Yay, yeah. All right, and then we go, can't make the box smaller. Come on, make the box smaller. Work for me. There we go. Okay, and then we go to the heart. So how can we make our reader care or feel anything for our sloth friends? Like, is there something they should worry about? Is there something that they should love? And this might be a little hard because we haven't done like every single piece of evidence right in there. It may be that you're touching back to, you know, the interesting habits that they have. So metabolic rates. No, that doesn't work. I'm trying. What should they feel? What about something like the fact that they're loved across the country, right? Like instead of making it, you know, you should love millions of Americans did what? What have you done that you know other people have done when they looked at sloths? Ooh, I like it. See, another one. See if I can do it without too much of a hassle. Okay, be my friend. Don't be rude. It's like it let me write it, but now it's trying to connect it with everything else. Okay, let's see. Boop. There we go. Okay, so with interesting habits and specific food diets, sloths make great friends, right? Because that's always a nice feel for it, and are just lovely creatures to be around. And what I would say is you could even say, you know, and most love being around them, because it almost sounds like, you know, like my personal opinion. So it, instead I'm going third person, I'm like, and most enjoy their company, love being around them. Get the idea? So with this, you know, like you can, we're putting it in the planner, but once you actually put it into the essay, you might go, hey, that word choice doesn't work, or, oh, let me get rid of those personal pronouns. So it's okay if it's not perfect in here as long as it gets the idea across, because it's planning it, not being a perfect essay, right? But it will help you finish the essay quicker the more you put in here. So that's why we do so much, right? All right. Looking to the future, what should the reader see in the future of sloths? Maybe it's something that they can do. Maybe it's what sloths will be like in the future. Maybe you can use them as a role model to sleep all day and only go about a half football field's length of movement. And again, maybe one of these won't fit with whatever it is that you're working with. You always want to include, though, touchback and the zinger. Okay, the go to the heart, look to the future is kind of like, let me help you fill in the blanks. Not absolutely necessary that all four are there, but I'd, just give it a shot, because you might, once you get into the essay, go, hey, this works better than that. Okay. And then we've got, I know that we kind of went through more time than I had expected, but we're almost done. So let's pretend we came up with something for the look to the future. Maybe, like, you should visit your zoo today or something like that, right? And then we've got the zinger. And I always say, if you did a question at the beginning, then do a question at the end. Don't make your brain hurt trying to figure out how to come up with another way to get them interested. Like, you could even ask something as simple as, what did you learn about sloths? Or what do you know about sloths? Or do you love sloths more now? Get what I'm going for? So it's like about the topic, and questions are the easiest, always have been. And again, if you put it in there and you're like, that's not exactly what I wanted, that's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. Even whenever you do the essay, we're still growing. Everything is a growth piece to it. All right, any questions on this stuff? And if you're doing it along with us, make sure you've gotten this information in. It will be in the class slides as well. You can even download the slides right now if you wanted to. Just let me know if that's something that you need before you go today. So no questions? Fantabulous. Well, in like 30 seconds, we're going to wrap it up-ish. I'll leave this up so that way if you're copying, you've got it until the ding happens with the timer. Not that ding. Alrighty, welcome back my 4B peeps. This is what we're doing this week. You'll find 4A is working on the research paper rough draft, boop, 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 because today we're getting in that planner. So it should be easy to put it together, and then you can work on, revising and editing and that kind of stuff. So we'll work on that kind of stuff as we go. On Wednesday, we'll work on the works cited page. So the very last page that has, like all your information. And for 4B, 4.01 project. Of course, if you're struggling on that, let me know. We can make a one-on-one. You can come to Open Help, all that jazz. And then you're going to move into Unit 2, which is going to get you ready for the interim, which is next week. So just a heads up on that one. Alrighty, so for 4A, your question for extra credit is what is due today? 4B, your extra credit question is, do you have any questions about the 4.01 project at this time? And of course, don't forget, if you need help, reach out. I'm here for you. There's plenty of ways to do it. My email is working. Yay! All right, that is all, folks. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for coming in. Bye.